everyone. Karen Roby and Tiernan Ray here for ZDNet, talking today about HP Enterprise. Some announcement from the out of that office last week. Tiernan, you're covering this here about them signing with Wells Fargo, and how this is going to relate to cloud for the enterprise. Talk a little bit about the announcement and what this means.
Karen, you know that Hewlett Packard Enterprise is one half of the former Hewlett Packard, got split up. It was put into a new form by former CEO Meg Whitman. She then passed the torch a couple years ago to Antonio Neri, the current CEO. We've talked with him a bunch, and we got a big update on the company last week at their annual Analyst Day event. Neri was talking about how they are going to sell across public cloud and private cloud. And we dug a little bit deeper into something called GreenLake. This is a division that has been evolving over the last couple of years, where they basically lease you computing power. Instead of moving all of your data into a public cloud service like AWS or Azure and paying Amazon or Microsoft, you rent computing capacity from Hewlett Packard Enterprise. They can basically take anything from desktop workstations to a supercomputer, really a supercomputer that they help to build, and they just back up the truck to your data center at your corporate facilities, put this computer in place, and then they have a metering solution, and they will keep track of how many workload cycles you run on this computer, and they'll charge you on whatever billing periodicity you want. So it's like cloud in that you don't own anything and you don't pay some fixed amount, you pay by usage, but it's still in your offices.
And it seems to me it makes sense. And before we get into the future cloud type stuff, questions there, Tiernan, it makes sense though to say, okay, we're going to just charge you for what you use. You're not paying a lease fee, a monthly that you may or may not, come close to hitting a certain target or getting what you pay for here.
That's correct. They're going to give you that option of the pricing flexibility that people like, and also not having the capital investment up front. But the argument that they're making, Karen, is there are workloads that just will never transition. This stuff is like toxic waste. It's going to be in the ground forever. Their example is the largest customer win to date for GreenLake is Wells Fargo. And the application is a compliance application. And as you can imagine, this is stuff that is sensitive data. And so it may not be stuff that can anytime soon or ever be put into a public cloud facility, precisely because that data needs to be accounted for in a physical location where the owner of the data, Wells Fargo, can make sure that it's there, they know where it is, it's not being accessed by anyone who shouldn't. So the whole argument for GreenLake is companies like Wells Fargo and another marquee customer, Epic, which is the maintainer of hundreds of millions of US medical health record files. These companies need to have this stuff in a place where they can physically account for it, say it's there. And so that stuff is just not going to a public cloud anytime soon. And so they're trying to split the difference and say, Hewlett will let you keep track of it where it lives, but we'll let you pay for it with this kind of flexibility you like and without the capital investments that traditionally you would have to make.
And what do you think of course, and they're saying this is what these type of companies in these industries with this sensitive information, this is what they need to do to have it on-prem. But what do you think it means in general, for this market and looking down the road with public cloud and doing it this way?
I think to the extent, Karen, that they can make the operational costs really efficient for these companies, it could be a renaissance for running big iron on premise, for running computing on premise. The challenge that GreenLake has, Hewlett has, and anyone doing on-premise cloud has at this point is that we've seen there are other applications in public cloud that are moving fast. There's a company called Snowflake, which has a database that runs in Azure, Google Cloud, and AWS. And so these new applications are taking off that make use of the giant scale of public cloud. And so the interesting challenge for Hewlett will be, can new kinds of applications flourish, or is it only for the old stuff, compliance applications for Wells, or medical records for Epic, stuff that's, as we said, in the ground like toxic waste? Is it only that stuff that's going to do this, or can sort of a renaissance of on-premise computing move to these new applications over time, or create new applications of their own? That's kind of the challenge, I think, for a company like Hewlett and its customers.
Very interesting. Well, it'll be interesting to see how this unfolds, Tiernan, and for much more, of course, on cloud and what you need to know. And Tiernan's full article, it can all be found on ZDNet. We hope you'll check it out there. We appreciate you all watching.